Welcome to How a Server Fits into an Organization from CoreQuick LLC with Sean Collins. Remember, more information is available at corequick.com. So we made this recording here because we realized that servers typically are viewed with fear and loathing and general misunderstanding, and we're here to correct that right now in a quick and easy to watch movie that should show you exactly how a server does fit into your organization. So we start off with a typical small business floor plan. We have a building here, we have rooms, we have accounting, we have sales, we have producers creating products, creating our website or creating our videos. We have our office manager, our receptionist, our guest kiosk, we have shipping and receiving, and a server room. The server room is what we're all about here in this video. We're going to talk about what the server room is and what the servers in the server room are supposed to be doing. Shipping and receiving is pretty obvious. These guys bring in stuff and they ship it out of the company. Of course, accounting keeps track of all the money, and sales is important because they have to sell things in order to make all the money. Our office manager keeps everyone organized. Our receptionist greets our guests and keeps track of all sorts of things, maybe the scheduling of calendars, odds and ends, things that are important to the company but are not handled by the office manager. We, of course, have our producers. These are the people that are making the thing that we're selling, whether it be video, whether it be web design, graphic design. Maybe we're making little plastic widgets and these things are being sold. These are the producers that are making those things. And when we have guests in our company, we generally have them use a guest kiosk system that we keep up by the receptionist. Now, one of the first things people think about when they think about a server is file sharing. And we're going to use financial data as an example. So, whenever we talk about using financial data or sending our financial data to a shared server space, we're talking about people sitting on an accounting computer or on sales computers, and they're sending financial data into a shared space so that the salespeople can see what the accounting people need them to see, and so that the accounting people can see what the salespeople need them to see, and vice versa, and everybody gets to see exactly what they're supposed to see, but in a shared environment. Shared environments really wouldn't be possible in an efficient and easy-to-use way if you didn't have a server. When you have schedules that need to be shared, you use iCal Server 2 for that. Perhaps the office manager is creating a shared schedule for everybody in the office. And so that shared schedule is being sent out, for example, to the people who are producing our products, the people who are selling them, the people who are accounting for the money, the people who are shipping and receiving them off. And the receptionist may need to know the schedules of everybody in the office so that when people come in and talk to the receptionist, she can tell them or he can tell them where they are. Perhaps you want to control printing using print queues. Say you've got 3 printers in your office and they're all the same make and model. Well, when everybody's sending all their print data, they can, instead of sending it to the printers, which may get jammed up and refuse jobs, they can send it to a print queue server sitting in the server room. When that happens, the server can then hand those jobs out to printers 1, 2, or 3, depending upon which one happens to be available at that moment. If one of the printers goes down or becomes unavailable, the other printers in the printer pool will take over. We talk about how to do that in Leopard Server Essential Training. When we're talking about sharing graphics, movies, pictures, text, audio, and a lot more with Wiki Server 2, what we're talking about is our friendly Wiki server. You see here we've got the default landing page here for macOS 10 servers Wiki Server 2. You have access to all sorts of things in here. If you're using SSL, your users can even use this web interface as a handy way to change their passwords. So we've got access to wikis, we have access to blogs, and a wonderful new My Page feature that allows you to keep track of everything that's changing on the server. So, what does that mean? Well, if we've got people with PDFs or spreadsheets or address manifests or any other information, all of that information can be sent over to where the website is and loaded up onto wiki and blog pages. Nifty thing about this is that anybody that doesn't have Photoshop, for example, if someone from production sends a PSD file over to the wiki, using Quick Look on the wonderful new Wiki Server 2, Quick Look can allow the server to render that PSD right in the web browser so that even if the client is on a PC, they're not running Photoshop, maybe even they're on an iPad and they don't have the ability to view PSD files. Well, by using Quick Look right there in the web browser, they certainly can view those PSD files using macOS 10 Server. With Podcast Producer Server 2, we have the ability now to record content using a cool application inside of OS 10.6 and 10.5 called Podcast Capture. With Podcast Capture on all of our computers in our office or in our home or in our school, we have the ability to capture our content, whether it be files we've dropped in that we created in GarageBand or iMovie, or maybe it's a podcast that we're capturing live right off of the camera built right into our computer. Whatever it happens to be, all of that content can be submitted into the server. The server then processes all of the content for us, putting in an introduction and an outro and publishing it to the wiki server. If we want to talk about data security, servers do that too. Servers provide access to certain things and deny access to other things depending upon access control lists or permissions that we set as administrators. This allows us to be very specific about what we allow people to get into and what we don't allow people to get into. With Mobile Access Server, say you bought the sexy new iPad. Well, if your iPad is trying to get securely into your network, you might have to set up a cumbersome VPN in order to make that connection. And while that's possible, a VPN may not be the best solution for you. With Mobile Access Server built into 10.6 server, you can create a VPN-less secure connection using an SSL tunnel. And all of this is very complicated sounding, but actually, once it's set up, from the user, it's very, very easy. On the iPad, they simply try to access the resources inside of the server room. They're not allowed to get access to those resources until they put in a username and password. When they put in the username and password, it unlocks the rights to get into the server, and they are allowed to pass through to the server. Once they do that, that server can allow them to access the resources on all of the different servers inside of your unique environment. One of the things we love to do with our computers is control them. And one thing that OS X Server allows us to do is control those client computers. Once our client computers, are joined to the directory system that's hosted on our server, we can use something called MCX settings to control when they turn on, when they turn off. We can control what they print to whenever they print to something in the office. We can control all sorts of things about how they behave and what people can do with them whenever they log into those computers to use them. All of this is available because you have a server. Backup and emergency data restore. You know what? It's not sexy until you need it, and then it's amazing. Say the accounting computer, which holds all of your important data, has not been saving as it's supposed to the server room where everything is backed up. But your client systems are backed up using Time Machine, using file sharing technology that allows your server to be the Time Machine destination for any computer on the network. Well, whenever your accounting system goes bad, all of that data that was saved in the Time Machine destination on the server can be restored back to the new accounting computer that you went out and bought today to replace the old one that died, can go back onto that new computer, and that person can be back up and running and working in no time. Everyone lives in email today, and email would not be possible without email servers. The server may live in your server room, and if it's a Mac OS X server, it could easily host your email for your entire company. Whenever you want to send an email, it goes through the server out to the internet. When people want to send email to you, their email hits that server and goes back to you. The server sits in the middle of all of these communications. If there wasn't a server, email wouldn't even be possible. Guest management. So that guest kiosk we've got down there in the reception area is a great computer, but anybody can walk in there and just use it. We want to control what people can do on that guest kiosk. And once again, with MCX settings, we can control exactly what people are able to do on that guest kiosk. In fact, we can even control whether or not they've got access to certain resources on our network, like printing or file services or other services that are hosted on our server. Servers are your friend. They are fantastic resources, and every organization must have one to really get all of the benefits of computing in today's information economy. Whenever you want to talk more about OS X Server, or you want to talk about buying or configuring your own server in your own organization, please look us up on corequick.com. My name is Sean Collins, and this has been How a Server Fits into an Organization.